This week on Irish Bandit Revolution, it's going to be a groovy good time as Rank It returns, as we rank all 8 seasons of one of my favorite sitcoms of all time, That 70s Show. Let's get right into it. Irish Bandit Revolution begins now. Welcome back to another edition of Irish Bandit Revolution. I hope everyone is having a great week. I, as always, am your host, the one, the only, the second Irish Bandit. This week, Rank It returns as we are counting down all 8 seasons of one of my favorite sitcoms of the new millennium, That 70s Show. Had a wonderful premise, had a great cast, had a likable cast of characters, and it was just a funny show that I'm proud to say that I own every season of it. It made stars of its talented young cast like Topher Grace, Mila Kunis, Laura Prepon, Ashton Kutcher, Danny Masterson, Wilmer Valderrama. You had some great established actors in that like Kurtwood Smith, Deborah Jo Rupp, Dawn Stark, Tanya Roberts, and a whole host of great guest stars including Seth Green, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Tommy Chong. Just a fantastic show, and we're going to count down all 8 seasons of which were my favorite. We're going to start things off with number 8. Yeah, it's kind of funny where this one ranked because this one wasn't one of my favorite seasons. It was, it was still That 70s Show. It was still good, but there was something missing in that season. It just so happened to be the final season of That 70s Show. Coming in at number 8 is season 8. So like I was saying earlier, there was something missing in season 8, and that just so happened to be main character Eric Foreman, who real actor Topher Grace decided at the end of season 7 he wouldn't be returning for season 8, and there was a big void left in that season, which they tried to fill with a new character named Randy, played by, who was it? Seth Meyers' brother, I think it was. So that's kind of neat that they got Seth Meyers' brother, but they tried to shoehorn him into that character style of Eric, but it didn't work. He just seemed so out of place, and by the time the final episode came around, he was gone. He was nowhere to be found. This was also the final season for Ashton Kutcher as a full-time cast member. He made sporadic appearances throughout the 8th season. Him and Topher Grace both appeared in the final episode, That 70s finale. And this was also the final season. The only real major thing of note, it was, I think, Jackie got a job working for a character played by Mary Tyler Moore, and she finally figured out her feelings for Fez, and they finally hooked up. Which was like 4 seasons too late at that point, but it was still an enjoyable season. Again, not my favorite by any means if it's coming in at number 8. But, it was still part of the show, and it was still That 70s Show, and it's still something I really enjoyed a lot. Not like the other seasons on this list, but, it was still okay. Like, I watched up to season 7, and I did not watch season 8 at all. Not because I didn't want to, but because there were things going on in my life at that point that were... TV wasn't my main priority at that point, let's just say. So, yeah, coming in at number 8 is season 8. And coincidentally enough, I can't believe how I worked this. At number 8 is season 8, and at number 7 is... Number 7 is season 7. So before I go on, I'm not going to go over each and every episode because it was like a serialized, or it was like a non-linear storytelling, but it did, in some seasons you had an overall arc to it, but it had that standard sitcom formula to it of, every episode being its own contained little episode. So, but we will go over our arching story arcs in the seasons. Like I said, this was the final season that Topher Grace was cast member as Eric left in the final episode of season 7. His character going to Africa. Kelso found out he was going to be a father during all this to Brooke, the librarian, who he slept with at, I think it was a Molly Hatchet concert. I could be mixing that up with My Name is Earl, but he had a rendezvous with Brooke in a bathroom, which resulted in a baby. And Hyde finds his real father. Now, in an earlier season, we met Bud, who was supposedly Hyde's father, but it turned out his father's actually black, which, as he said, makes sense because of the sweet fro. So, and it was great who they got to play Hyde's father in that season. He was played by same actor who played Venus Flytrap in WKRP in Cincinnati. I loved all the little 70s references that they put in. Like they had the actor who played Tim Reed, I think, who played Venus Flytrap in WKRP. They had Howard Hessman, who played Dr. Johnny Fever in WKRP. They had like 70s names like Brooke Shields come and guest star on the show, which was just fantastic. And Tommy Chong, best known for his movies with Cheech Marin. So season 7 was a pretty good season. It was a big downer that Topher Grace was leaving the show, and when the main character leaves the show, there's a huge void. And it's like I said with season 8, that's exactly what happened. A huge void was left when Topher Grace left that they tried to fill with a new character, and it didn't work. But season 7, again, good season, not a favorite, but very enjoyable, very, very much a lot of laughs in it, especially with Kelso. Kelso was the comedy of the show with all his physical humor. So, season 7, good, but could have been better. Coming in at number 6, and again, I didn't mean to plan it this way, it just turned out this way, is that season 6 comes in at number 6. So the big story arc of season 6 was Eric proposes to Donna, and everybody from Red, Kitty, Bob, all the way down to their friends think they're not ready to get married. That's all they keep telling them. You're not ready to get married. Blah, 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 blah. And the night before the wedding, at the wedding rehearsal, Eric bails. He finally figures out, oh yeah, maybe we're not ready. We're too young to get married. And maybe they were. Who's to say right now? But that was the overall arc of season 6. I thought season 6 was a really good season, especially with that arc of the wedding. And it was just, again, the same hilarity you expect from that 70s show. It's one of those things that you always come to expect, especially when you have someone as comically able as Ashton Kutcher. He was the shining star. There was a time where, I went from really liking Ashton Kutcher to just not giving a crap about him to liking him again. It's an amazing, amazing cycle. It's like I liked him all throughout that 70s show. There was a time I thought he was a giant d-bag, and now that I'm watching The Ranch on Netflix, I think he's great again. He's funny in that too. He's just overall funny. Comedy is his forte. I know he started out as like a male model, but the comedy is really something he's really good at. So yeah, season 6, you're getting into the better seasons here now with that 70s show. Okay, coming in at number 5, we've broken the pattern of 8, 7, 6. As coming in at number 5 is season number 3. So season 3 saw more Eric and Donna drama. Let's try saying that 3 times fast. As Eric gives Donna a promise ring, she gives it back, and then they break up. I think this was after the point where they did it, so to speak. It's after the point where Eric and Donna have sex, and Eric gives Donna a promise ring, and then Donna just has to take a real hard look at everything, and it's like, do I really want to spend the rest of my life with Eric? So she gives him back the promise ring, and they break up, which is the most heartbreaking thing of that season, when Donna and Eric break up. Because if there's no hope for Donna and Eric, there's no hope for love at all. But eventually they got back together in the next season, and they get married. I think that was the next season, or was that? No. I think the next season, of season 3, of season 6. Oh yeah, okay. Season 4 was when they tried to be friends, and Donna ran away to California. We'll get into that in a little bit. Okay, but season 3, yeah, now we're getting into the really good seasons. Like once 5, we go from 5 down to 1. These are the seasons that I absolutely enjoyed. I think these were the seasons that exemplified that 70s show, the humor, the heart, the just the feel of the 70s, because this is a very timeless feeling show. You can watch it and feel like you're there. So I think that's why they put it in the 1970s and didn't make it in like current times. So it has that timeless feel to it with it still being relevant. So coming in at what number are we at? We were at number 5? Yes, we were. Coming in at number 4 was just a fantastic season all around. No real direction in this season yet. You had the Eric and Donna relationship, but one of the bigger things happened with one of the adult characters in the show. Coming in at number 4 is season number 2. As season 2 begins, Red loses his job at the plant and has to find a new job. When a new big box store comes into Point Place, Red and Eric both apply for a job at the store. Eric getting a stock boy job, while Red gets the manager's position. I think that was a great dynamic, having Red and Eric working together, and it kind of played off in later seasons when Red wound up buying a muffler shop, and you had him and kind of his adopted son Hyde working together there. Another big thing about season 2 is, well, in the season finale of season 2, Donnie moons the yearbook. Not much more you can say about that, honestly. But yeah, season 2 was just a great, great return from season 1. And what more can I say that I haven't already said? Humor, heart. You had some great acting in this season. One of my favorite episodes has to be the Velvet Rope, when the gang goes to a new disco because Donna just needs to get out for a while, and they're all trying to convince this bouncer to let him in the disco. I think that is probably one of my favorite episodes of season 2. Hyde talking about his radical rebellion and Fez dancing, and you have Eric at the end who's just standing there all by himself, giving coffee to the bouncer. Can I come in now? Nope. Come on, man. And then he gives this big speech about duck, duck, goose, and the bouncer's like, "Get in there, goose. Go dance." So that was a great episode. And like I said, if it's not one of my favorites of the season, it's probably one of my favorites of the entire series. So season 2 was just a great season, great, great overall, and I can't recommend it enough. Coming in at number 3, we're going to swap positions here because 3 is 4 in this case. Coming in at number 3 is season 4. The big things that happen in season 4 happen near the end of the season, as Kelso and Donna hightail it to California, and somebody leaves a fishy surprise for Kelso in his van. But the big thing that happens in this season is Jackie goes out and buys a bag of pot. When her and Hyde are confronted with it, Hyde takes the rap for it, not wanting Jackie to go to jail, which sets up in the next season Red being super vigilant about trying to catch them in the act of smoking pot. He never does. I think there's one time where he does. I think some of my favorite moments in the show are either when the gang is sitting down in their pot circle, or Eric is high as a kite talking to Red and Kitty. Because then you have like all these different weird things happening in the circle. Like there was one time, I think in one of the later seasons, all Hyde saw was his face on everybody's body. You had the time where everybody turned into a Scooby-Doo character practically. And the times where Eric is high talking to Kitty and Red, you have the You have the walls shifting around like that, and the wallpaper moving, and heads coming off of people's bodies and going on the other one. And it's some of the funniest stuff that you've ever seen. So definitely, season 4 was a great season overall for that 70s show. Coming in at number 2, again, we're doing a flip here because 2 is 1. Coming in at number 2 is the very first season of that 70s show. So while there was no general story arc for season 1, it was just meant for us to meet the characters. Like meet Eric, Kitty, Red, all the Foreman family, including Lori, his sister who disappears and then comes back and then disappears again. His friends, Hyde, Kelso, Jackie, well, she's not really a friend, but, and his love interest, Donna. Season 1 was just, you've never seen anything like that 70s show before on TV. I know that sounds cliche, but it's the truth. It's a sitcom that happens in 1976, and it just feels like it's happening today. Only the music and the fashion are totally different. Like I dig it because I dig the 70s. I love music from the 70s. I'm a big fan of Kiss, REO Speedwagon, bands like that, Black Sabbath. So I dug it. I thought it was a really great season. It was the first season. It introduced us to the humor, introduced us to the heart, introduced us to one of the best cynics on TV, Hyde. And I think, okay, one of my favorite episodes is probably that wrestling episode, was when the whole gang, along with Bob and Red, go to, I don't remember where they go, but they go to watch wrestling matches, and it's totally done by the WWE, at that time the WWF. You had The Rock in this episode playing his father, Dwayne Johnson, Rocky Johnson. You had Ken Shamrock in this episode. You had the Hardy Boys, who were uncredited in their role. So to see that, I love seeing when a sitcom portrays wrestling, just to see how they'll do it. If they'll do it justice, or if they'll totally make a mockery of it like Fuller House did. And I think that 70s show did a great job portraying professional wrestling, especially since you got guys like The Rock, Ken Shamrock, Matt, and Jeff Hardy. So that was a fun episode to watch, and you really saw the relationship between Red and Eric. Where Eric does love his father, and Red does love Eric, even if they don't say it. But they have each other's back through thick and thin. So that just leaves us with one season left. This season probably is my favorite. It had the most going on, and it probably had one of the most heartfelt finales I've ever seen. As number one, the season that I rank as number one as my all-time favorite season is season 5. So like I said, season 5 had a lot going on for it. At the start of the season, well, let's go back to season 4, because like I was saying during that, at the end of that season, Kelso and Donna go to Florida to be with Donna's mother, and Eric goes against his parents' wishes and goes to California to bring Donna home, which gets them in a whole heap of trouble. During this point, while Kelso is away in California, Jackie and Hyde start a relationship which shocks everyone. Like when the scene came and Hyde was like, "Oh, thank God, I didn't think they'd ever leave." And they started kissing. I was like, "Whoa, wow! Oh, I was not expecting that." So during all this, this is also the final year for the kids in high school as they graduate. Well, except for Jackie, who's a few grades lower than the others, but the rest of the kids graduate. But the only thing is, because Fez is graduating, he's going to be deported home because he's a foreign exchange student. So to stay in America, he marries Lori, which gives Red a heart attack. Now, I've never seen a heart attack so well represented on TV before. I think they did this very well, just with the entire stress of everything going on with graduation, with Fez marrying Lori. It just kind of got to Red, and it was like, ugh. And it was really a heart-wrenching. Sorry, I was reading for my water there for some reason. I thought I was in the middle of a take. But for, all this just kind of weighs down on Red, and finally his heart just gives out. Like, he survives the heart attack, and, we see the recovery during season 6. But you can I don't know if you could say you understand where he's coming from, but he is very protective of his daughter while he's very hard on Eric. So you can see why he would probably, overreact to a situation like that. But I thought season 5 was just a great season. You had the great return of Eric and Donna back together in a relationship. You had something new with Kelso, or I'm sorry, not with Kelso, with Hyde and Jackie, who were always butting heads. Like the first 4 seasons, they were always at each other's throats. Because Jackie was the royal spoiled rich bitch, and Kelso or Hyde, I keep mixing the two of them up for some reason. Hyde was the loner, degenerate, juvenile delinquent. So you always had them butting heads. So to see them together, it's kind of unnatural, but it also worked. And then you had a great cameo performance from Jessica Simpson, who came back as a California beach bunny who was in love with Kelso while he was in California. And it just made for a fantastic season, and without a doubt, my favorite season of That 70s Show. So there we go, all 8 seasons of That 70s Show ranked. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. What is your favorite episode, season, moment, character from That 70s Show? Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to share this video anywhere you can, on Facebook, Twitter, or any social media outlet of choice. Don't forget to visit redbubble.com to visit the Irish Bandit shop for all your Irish Bandit merchandise. We have t-shirts, we have stickers, we have phone cases for iPhone and Samsung. Some new Samsung cases have just been released, so you can look on there. We also have travel mugs, coffee mugs, whatever your heart desires. And I might be adding some new stuff soon. We'll see very, very soon. But be sure to click the link in the description below to get your Irish Bandit merchandise. Over my shoulder right here, you're going to see a link to last week's episode. It is the live season premiere, not season finale. What? I'm not doing a live season finale this year. But it's going to be linked to the live season premiere. You can go back and watch that if you haven't watched it already. And don't forget, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, and if you're already subscribed, tap that bell and you'll be notified whenever I upload anything new or whenever I go live. YouTube has been very, very funky as of late. Videos getting to sub boxes really late or notifications going really late, but hang in there. I hope they get this all figured out eventually. We'll see. All right, well, next week's episode, we are going to be ranking my 5 favorite underrated kid shows. Don't look for shows like Transformers, He-Man, G.I. Joe, or Real Ghostbusters on here because you're not going to find them. These are going to be the ones that kind of slid under the radar, but I personally enjoy very, very much so. And big news. I'm breaking this news right now. The trailer for Mighty Marvel Month is going to be dropping this Friday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Be sure to subscribe and be notified when that trailer drops. You are not going to want to miss that, and you are not going to want to miss Mighty Marvel Month coming very, very soon on April 3rd. All right, well, that about wraps it up for this episode of Irish Bandit Revolution? What? I'm going to go back to sleep. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you again for another episode of Irish Bandit Revolution. I'm the Bandit, and I'm out of here, and I'm going to go take a nap. Take care.